A roach. Someone just called it a roach statue. We were just with Pop Darby. We were just with Pop Darby today. They said a roach, and I'm thinking, I was like, I haven't heard that.
That's when you get down to the
long time.
Itty bitty part.
I know what it is.
It look like a roach.
I know what it is, but only from TV.
Oh yeah.
It's like back in the day.
Right.
Back in the day, they used to have these feathers with a little clip. That was
So when it got,
Now you went old school.
Well, I thought they had tweezers.
Well, it's like on the
I
end,
don't
it's like,
know. I thought other people told me that.
the clip is like that. It's like, you know.
it looked like a vice clip.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's
And
what
you
it
put
really.
it on the tip, right?
You put it on.
So you won't burn your fingers.
Exactly.
Is that what it
Oh,
was
okay. Is
for?
that what that's for?
That's what
Okay,
Fingers,
good,
not
good.
lips.
That's good to know.
Education,
There you go. See?
We're gonna tell y'all all the good tips.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Miss Jones, why don't you go ahead and give our listening audience just some background about who you are and what your mission is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Audia Jones. I started out as what I thought I was going to be a basketball player for life. That didn't work out so well. I did go to college on a Division I scholarship. I played basketball at the University of Rhode Island. Ended up tearing my ACL, my Achilles, and then I was like, okay, what am I really? Someone was like, what are you really going to do? I'm like, going to the NBA.
Right.
You know, I'm going to be the first woman. But in all seriousness, I ended up getting to law school at Texas Southern, the real TSU.
Yeah.
So I went to Thurgood Marshall, ended up graduating at the top of my class because now I shifted my focus and energy from sports to academics. And ended up being really good at criminal law, but never really thought twice about it. After I left while I was in there, I actually did some work with some civil firms, wasn't really fulfilled. Ended up going to Capitol Hill and working for the United States Congress, where I handled the House Judiciary Committee portfolio for a United States representative. So I dealt with criminal justice reform from a distance. Now, what happened is eventually I moved back to Harris County, got a job with the district attorney's office, at which time that was under the prior administration, where I got a chance to see up close. You know, we had the same kind of people that were cycling in and out. And then, not to mention, I am a black woman, so I come from my family's black. I come from a community of color that typically has been targeted by the criminal justice system. So I got to see how real it was. Even though I'd seen it with my family members, it was at a distance. But I really got to see how many people's lives were destroyed, and it wasn't at the cost of public safety, right? They use this whole guise of public safety, but who are we really keeping safe when we're sticking individuals who are in there for majority low-level offenses in and out of jail? We're keeping them in this repeated cycle. 77% of our Harris County jails filled with nonviolent offenders. We literally had a population in the United States go from 300,000 to 2 million in the span of 2 decades, based on the war on drugs, which brings me to you guys' amazing show, and how we're talking about what we want to bring to the criminal justice system here in Harris County by no longer prosecuting possession of marijuana cases unless there's an intent to distribute. So no longer
Say that
prosecuting.
Did you hear that?
No longer
Okay,
prosecuting.
did y'all hear that? Okay, we're gonna let y'all hear it. Say it again. 'Cause y'all
Not
listen.
community service, no $150 class, no longer, that means when the district attorney, when we have police officers that pull people over, what people don't understand, Harris County is one of the very few counties where the officers actually have to call our intake division
Yes, they do.
24 hours a day,
I know
and if
they
the
are.
prosecutor says, no, we are no longer accepting charges, they have to release you. And that's our plan, is to stick a policy in place immediately. And that's literally one of those stroke of the pen changes that can happen depending on who's in the leadership position or the district attorney's position overnight. That is nothing that takes years, days, months, 100 hours. It takes a minute.
Stroke of a
And
pen.
that's exactly why we wanted to have you as our first guest, is because as we talk about the perfect flower, a lot of times, because we're in the gray area in terms of federal laws and even state laws, a lot of people are hesitant to even inquire or get the knowledge that they need to have a better understanding. So we're very, very grateful and appreciative of you coming on the show. And so everybody get ready to start campaigning.
Yes, we need
Yes,
volunteers.
and listen, y'all. Listen, I'm gonna tell you why I had, because coming from a law enforcement background, I know firsthand, working with school police. Okay, so I can tell you majority of those arrests were for marijuana. And unfortunately, truth be told, that's where I got the information.
Right.
Like from our children, because they know what's going on,
Right.
because they're on the pulse of it. They know what's going on. So if we know that, if we see that education is part of it, because there have been children who will tell you that they feel better and they can focus.
Well, that goes back to,
You know.
yeah, that goes back when we talk to mental health issues or drug
Right,
addiction.
right.
And our big thing about our campaign is like ending mass incarceration, right?
Right.
And when we go back to the numbers, we look at where it stems from. We have so many people that talk so conclusory, but at the end of the day, it comes down to looking at the numbers.
Right.
So number one, when we talk about possession of marijuana charges, who is it destroying? What communities is it destroying?
Right.
It's majority Black and brown communities.
Yep.
We are 6 times more likely as minorities to be pulled over than our white counterparts. And not only that, statistics have actually shown that we use marijuana at the same rate, commit crimes at the same rate as every other race.
Right.
But you know, this is a system that needs to be rebuilt. And it needs somebody that's bold, and I'm willing to be bold about it, but we don't need anybody in the gray area. For too long, we've had our communities are destroyed, whether you're Black and brown, it's crossing over to the white community, and
Right.
people that are poor,
Right.
people that have mental health issues and typically self-medicate, and then we have people that are drug addicted.
Right.
And those are the people that are sitting in jail on a daily basis because they cannot afford the cash bail that's being offered for these low-level crimes.
So let me ask you this. This is one of the other questions that I have real quick, and then we're going to go to our next guest. When it comes to transparency.
Yes.
Because that's one of the things that I...
We are lacking that right now.
So listen, and I'm bringing this up because the other day, Houston Police Chief kind of blasted Harris County DA's office regarding a case where a young child was shot and the person was released on bond. And I can appreciate that because it's kind of like, what are you guys doing? If we're taking the time to do this, to get the investigation, to go through the process, then a person is allowed to be released, and or vice versa. Because we have had situations where law enforcement has been involved and there has been limited to no transparency about what's going on until everything is kind of washed over. So as Harris County DA, what is your stance on transparency?
I think transparency is huge. So that's one of our main 3 focuses. Obviously, one of the first one is public safety. Everybody wants to be safe, no matter what class you come from, socioeconomic status, color, gender, race, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But we're saying you're not more safe by sticking individuals in jail and they can't afford it for low-level crimes. We're making actually our community more dangerous.
Right.
That's the first one. But the third one is the transparency and equality. So transparency is huge. You know, one thing we've seen is there's so many cases that have been swept under the rug. When you talk about, I can't speak specifically to the facts of that case because I am running for a position in Harris County. But when we're talking about certain things that have occurred, let's take for instance Charlisha Corley. Does anybody in this room know who she is? When we talk, we're on the cannabis show. This is right here in Harris County where we have officers that pulled her over, essentially inserted their fingers in her vagina, looking for possession of marijuana cases. Please, if you are out there listening, please Google Charlisha Corley. She's a young woman. I believe she went to Texas Southern. Anyways, the officers inserted their fingers in her vagina on dash cam at night because they said they smelled a strong odor of marijuana. Essentially, the case was brought into grand jury. Now, what grand jury is the first step when there's a felony case.
Right.
Now, the grand jury listens and they decide to either move forward with the case, at which time they will go ahead and indict it. That's called an indictment, or a no bill, at which time it's dismissed because it doesn't move forward past the grand jury. Now, what they did under the previous administration, they brought the cases in against the 2 officers. So essentially, the officers were being charged with official oppression. What this current administration did that a lot of people don't know because it lacks transparency is they came in under the current administration. They brought those same 2 cases, and this is, when I say it's unheard of, I've never heard of the DA's office bringing cases back into the grand jury to represent it, at which time they no-billed or dismissed the cases against the officers. Now, you can Google that. They stuck that at the bottom of an article at the Houston Chronicle. Take a look at it. Charlisha Corley, they just reached a settlement. They reached a settlement, so I doubt, we'll be able to speak with her, but it's right there in plain sight. So, essentially when we say, if we're no longer prosecuting these possession of marijuana cases, unless there's an intent to distribute, you know, that's another thing we're avoiding, is the interactions between law enforcement, creating situations that have ended up like Sandra Bland's unfortunate
Right.
situation, Charlicia Corley's right there up there with it.
Can you please tell me what's going on with her case right now? Do you
So
know?
we're gonna go to a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna get into
Thank
it.
you.
Yes. Take us to commercial break.
That's horrible.
I mean, it's right there.
That is, yes.
So that's something
Yeah.
that could easily happen to me, especially with me being an activist, you know, over cannabis, and the laws are always
You've been an
revealed.
engineer, don't
I've
be
been
scared
pulled
to tell
over
them. Got 2 minutes left.
Right.
All right.
Okay,
So,
I'll let you
And that's
tell
on
me.
what am
video.
I reading the time off of
That's
home?
very
Wait, you
important for these
Right now, it's
organizations.
8:26.
Okay, all right.
When it's closed,
they
if
release
you add that to this,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
gonna come
that's,
up with
there's
this.
a lot. There's a lot. Well, that's why I
Alright.
If you add that 6
it's kind of
minutes to
difficult.
that,
Someone's like,
so it's 8:30, you know what I'm saying? So that's how you ever hear radio on this saying, hey, y'all stay tuned. We got Q-Tip coming up at 8:52.
Okay.
How the hell you gonna say 8:52?
Yeah, all
I'm
right.
telling you right there in the queue.
Against
All right, all right.
They were taught when the new administration came in under Trump, they represented a massive grand jury in which time they.
So when they come back on now,
When I say
I'm gonna hit
history of
lock.
Always, when you go to
I've
break,
talked to friends that
lock it first before you bring it up.
Okay.
Because they might say we're going to break and you bring it up, and they're like, man, I can't stand.
Yeah.
You know, they start talking because they think you already turned off the mic. So
Alright.
always turn off the mic first and then bring the
cases,
music
so they
up.
still
Okay.
got the mic on, if they're going to break.
You can still hear them talking.
And
About
then
Basically.
and bullshit.
Yeah.
That was, you know,
Get the mic first.
President.
Get the truth in, huh?
Exactly what it happened. You know, when they pulled her over, when they took her to jail.
it was right there in the middle of the road. They stripped her. They pulled her underwear down. Right there in the middle of the
Did they find anything?
Did they say they found a piece of marijuana?
Surprised about this story.
No, boy, man. It's two, you got 2 songs.
You say you got 2 songs?
It's a 2 songs. Y'all doing 2 songs or 1 song?
We're gonna do one.
Oh, two? I don't know.
Let's do 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I got a lot of people, so y'all might as well start running. And it's like he's doing 15-minute segments. I got it set up, showing him how to set up 15-minute segments.
Okay.
So you know what I'm saying? He's just gonna let y'all know when the last one is
Like
going.
mentor, y'all have a radio mentor. Come on now.
So they only do one. So take this one out.
Start working with
Alright.
you.
Just pull this out.
I'm gonna need this on.
So my radio mentor.
Oh, yeah, I am.
Take one of those two. Which one?
About freedom weed.
They said they want
Oh, just one?
one
Well,
song.
there's some.
Okay.
Freedom weed in Texas.
Well,
Yeah, you did.
And 2 more Tupacs behind next to
Not yet.
Three Tupacs in
Actually,
there.
like,
One song, 3 Tupacs, 1 song.
All right.
I'll get mine.
You can build it all the way to 9 o'clock. You don't have to worry about it. They ain't worried about the music. They don't, you don't use it.
Yes, we're gonna ask.
Okay.
About her movement. She's gonna tell you guys how to get started being an activist in the community. She's out there, and she's gonna keep you all on.
That's how you do
This is the
After you can build it all the way to 9 o'clock. You don't have to worry about that. One thing you gotta worry about, tell y'all, hey, song I'm finna go back on.
How you doing it?
The music cue, and you don't have to worry about nothing else. I can do it because I don't have to pay attention. I know what I'm doing. I'm doing it.
That's why I brought it in.
The best is the cue as you learn it. After a while, he ain't gonna worry about the cue and stuff. He's gonna be on top. This way, he can keep track. 57 seconds, y'all. We're going back in.
57 seconds. Yep. Yeah, you right with
But
that.
the first class that I'll be an instructor.
And that's why I'm gonna come on.
Yeah, good.
Remember, these are direct mics, so talk directly into the mics.
Thank you.
I'm gonna sit back
Yes,
instead of
yeah.
talking.
Yeah, okay, good.
Come on up here.
And you can get on there. Has all the information.
Other than you got it.
And
That's my one.
You boss.
20 seconds.
That bad.
I got it. So y'all listen so I come in and help? If I ain't come in,
4, 3,
I was just doing this whole
2.
segment, nobody would have heard it.
Yes, once again, you are tuned in to the Green Gold Lounge on Texas101jams.com, and we have our next guest who, man, she's active.
Yes.
She, like during the legislative session, she was in Austin.
Yes.
She's been hitting the streets, having her meetings, and I have a question for her.
Okay. Ask it. Well, first of all, you gotta tell them what our show topic is tonight. Like, you just came back in. You gotta tell people what we're talking about.
Tonight we're talking about cannabis and culture.
What about the culture? What about the culture?
What about the culture? Cannabis and culture. We're gonna get into the culture. Right now Miss Jones, she just front loaded us with all of that great information.
Good information.
So I want to keep that energy going, and then we can start winding down and then
We're gonna get relaxed in the lounge for the later part.
So,
The later lounge, that's the after party. Right now, y'all got the lunch party. Then we're gonna have the after party.
yeah. So, do you remember the first time you got high?
Oh,
let's
yes,
talk
I
about it.
do.
Do tell.
I do. It's funny that you asked me that question. Because I'll never forget, I have a twin sister. Her name is Latrina.
Yes. I see
You
her
saw
the other
her.
night. She's an activist also.
Yes, she is.
Her
For the
twin sister.
LGBTQ community.
Yes. She's a very good
And
activist.
for justice in the community.
Mhm.
But going back to the first time I got high, well, my god sister and my god brother always smoked. All the time. I was 15 years old, very young. And so, I kept getting the contacts, it was like, y'all know y'all want to smoke, So it was our weekend to hang out with them again. Our moms dropped us off and said, we're like, bye mom, So anyway, they was like, let's go out. We went out and said, we got it for you guys. Now back then, it wasn't Swisher Sweets and all of that. It was zigzag papers. So they passed
what did they
it
call
back.
it? You say they would that. So what did y'all call it?
A joint.
A joint.
A jizz joint.
A jizzoid.
A jizz joint.
A
So I have to finish. My god sister, she was like, you just pull it. And then you hold it, right? I said, okay. I hold it. Me and my sister, we blew it in.
Okay.
And I haven't stopped doing this since.
That's what started.
That's what
10 years
started
old.
that.
That's about the age.
10 years
Listen, that's about the
Pretty
age. To be honest, like, so she started friend weed about 15.
So why don't you tell us about the movement that you have started here in Houston? Let us know the name of your organization and the mission and vision.
Well, I'll kind of start by where I started with this. I was in the professional business, men's clothing, and I worked for the Men's Warehouse for 15 years. I worked in the executive department, moving up.
Right.
I got sick, and trigeminal neuralgia, which is a nerve damage on the right side of my face. I was shortening up. I had brain surgery. It was back in my head.
Oh, wow.
So I had 27 stitches in my head, I went through excruciating pain. I was already a weed smoker, as I just dramatized.
Right.
When I was curing myself and healing, I kept smoking. And what I came to find out is that the smoking was healing me faster, My husband found an activist group called Houston Normal at the time. When I walked in that room, it was really amazing, because I kept looking like, is the lodge looking behind me or anything like that? But I kept going because I felt empowered,
Right.
that as a black woman, that I could speak about cannabis and how it helps me,
Right.
and with others who have the same beliefs, Anyway, after I was voted as the executive director, they had some financial issues that I could not fix.
Right.
So it was a lot of people still depending on me on the movement. So that's when I started a year ago, actually on the 12th, Cannabis Reform in Houston.
Yeah.
So I had to give you the whole story,
Yes.
because it was really hard. I went through my ups and downs and still going through it, But my determination because of my illness and seeing others going through it and looking at Texas and how they hold this down about cannabis, it just gives me the willpower and the strength, to do this thing.
Right.
Because not only do I fight for me, I'm fighting for others, and I'm fighting for freedom.
Right.
And it's important to hear those types of stories because right now in the news, we know CBD is big and medical marijuana across different states.
Yes.
So to hear someone that has a testimony about their personal experience and how cannabis helped them is very valuable in this movement.
Yeah, free the weed in Texas.
Yeah.
So if people want to get involved in your organization, what do they need to do?
Well, we have a Facebook page, which everyone's on there. I swear we have about 4,000 members over. And that's because I know that they see that we're more of an activist group than selling products and selling items, because it's all about education. You can also find us on cannabisreforminhouston.org. We do have a website page. We do have an IG page, and that's Free the Weed HTX, You can go on there, and we have about all of our links and everything on there. And we also have a Yahoo page, Cannabis Reform Houston at yahoo.com.
Yeah.
We always have stuff that we have going on. You can come to our meetings. We
Yes.
meet once a month. That's where I met you wonderful guys.
Yes.
Thank you for
Yes.
coming.
Oh, you're
I
welcome.
wanted to say you guys just uplifted us. Any type of, participation or support that I can get is wonderful because it takes us all to make this change in
Yep.
Texas.
That's true.
Now, we meet at Midtown Bar and Grill every third Thursday of the month from
Yes.
7:30 to 9:30.
Yes.
So we have companies and classes, schools, and candidates running for positions because it takes all of that to make this work,
Right.
And I like to inform my people about what's going on, which I don't tell you which way to vote, but I do let you know who supports it. You can make your own decisions.
Exactly.
I don't tell you about the schools, but I don't tell you what school to go to,
Right.
but I tell you about the schools.
Right.
Maybe some will go to this school, maybe some will go to that.
Talk
But
about
it's
it.
information,
Mhm.
okay? Because they want to hold us down. They don't want us to know.
Right.
But these 4
Speak
years
on
that
that.
I've been.
Speak on that because
doing
you have
this.
been in this industry for a minute.
Yes, I have.
And you can speak on how, because I've been to events where we have been like the 1%, like we're hardly there. And for me, it's actually been good because they want to know, why are you here? Like, so when they start talking to you and they see what you have going on, they're like, okay, well, where are the rest? Like, I know there's more. So that's part of what our class is, and she will be at our class.
Yes.
Yes,
Being a
yes.
instructor.
So that's part of what we're doing is just letting people know about the industry, about what's going on. We're bringing people in. We have activists that are going to be there. We have attorneys, doctors, lawyers,
Yes.
like farmers, cultivators. Like, this is our chance, because if you look at how fast this industry is going alone, even if you look at it from a financial standpoint, you could do so many. You don't even have to go far away from what you're already doing. You don't.
Right.
But Houston has to have a start. And I think what you guys are doing with educating people, giving them a start, it helps us, because it's a lot of people that are interested into it, but we just don't know.
Right.
Right,
There's
right.
no education.
And
Right.
that's the purpose of Tamar, excuse me,
The Emerald Empress.
and
Oh, Bring it
Bring it out, girl.
Don't make me. I'm
government.
trying not to. I'm trying to be calm right now. Come over here and feather dust you.
Oh my God. Called it by the
Yeah,
government.
but
I hope it's attached with something on there.
It is some fairy powder.
so the Perfect Flower Cannabis Workshop and Networking Mixers, that's what it's about. It's about bringing together the professionals that are already active in the industry so that you don't have to spend hours and hours trying to, Google and go from this corner to that corner, this circle and that circle, because that's literally what it's going to be.
Yep.
Because we don't have any uniformity when it comes to regulations and standards, and then we are still faced with the federal situation where it's considered illegal. So what we've been able to do is pull together the right professionals. We're looking at it from a medical perspective, scientific perspective, and a social perspective. That's the way we're approaching the education of this flower. So we brought the professionals together, and we also want to make sure that people know that this event is.
It's networking.
Yeah, it's about networking.
That's the biggest.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. It wasn't until I got into a networking that I actually got exposed to more about what was going on in the industry. And networking is so important, and that's the reason why we have the activists that are coming. We have other organizations that are coming. We have examples of things that you can use to grow.
Right, we have experts.
We have experts. Like, we're not just coming with just nothing. We're bringing people who, some of these larger companies in other states are utilizing. Like, we want people to know, because when these large companies come, if you don't have the training and if you don't have any knowledge of it, you will get looked over, and you will keep getting looked over, and
Well,
you will
that's
keep
what
getting looked
Houston
over.
wants, and that's what we want.
Right.
That's what the whole fight was for.
Right.
Till the end of this month, which was the last day of the legislative adjourn. And it was a hard fight from January all the way to May. I did as much as I could going up there and lobbying. I testified for about 4 medical bills, and then there was a decriminalization bill that got totally dead upon arrival with Lieutenant Dan, and no one really appreciates him right now. We're really upset about him. But the thing is that Abbott is gonna let alcohol be delivered, in September the 1st, but then he can free the weed in Texas, I think that was very horrible.
Right.
About that decision. It
Yeah.
really made us look like he didn't give two blanks about us.
Oh, we're internet, so
Oh,
you
okay.
can say
Well,
whatever
he didn't
you
give two blanks about us.
want, 'cause we're not censored. So yeah, tonight's show we're behaving ourselves just a
Where's the one?
but we do have some other topics that we're gonna be discussing. So
Okay.
we're
Well, before we move off on to
Yes.
something else, I know I want to interject. What you guys are doing is wonderful.
Thank you.
What all of you guys are doing, and especially with educating. I think from a criminal justice aspect, it's important to also bring back the fact that we have a lot of individuals right now, even to this date, that are sitting in jail for possessing marijuana, right? That are incarcerated for having certain parts of marijuana. On the flip side, we have people becoming millionaires and billionaires off of that
Yep.
same wonderful flower.
So it
So
doesn't
I
make
think
any sense.
this is what I think. I think it's important that the people that we have elected officials, and that's why I'm telling everybody, if you're listening, please vote. Vote.
Yeah.
Know who
Vote,
is
vote,
representing you,
vote.
because if you
Yeah.
have an elected
Register.
official, if there are elected officials in your area and you live in a predominantly minority area and they're saying they're for you, but on the backside they're keeping bills that are consistently convicted at 6 times a higher rate than white counterparts. It's important to know when we talk about making money off of this same exact
Yep.
plan,
Yep.
why are we then keeping people who have a drug conviction on their record or an
That's
arrest
what-
record for a
yep.
drug that can no longer participate in what you
Right.
guys are doing?
Democratic process,
So we
exactly.
need individuals, and that's another one of our platforms is
Right.
going out there and lobbying. So that's outside of our jurisdiction,
Yeah,
right?
I was getting ready to
But
say that's
typically-
outside.
But what is important to know is that elected officials have that platform. Now, when you go, if you're an elected official and you go up there to speak in Austin, do you think they're going to listen? They're going to listen to you at a much more
Well,
rate.
they're
Unfortunately,
supposed
I mean,
to listen.
but that's why it's important to use that.
But do they really?
No,
No.
but this is one of the things that I say, and Texas will not change its mind until
No.
you educate law enforcement
Yes.
about cannabis. We are, as law enforcement, because I'm not law enforcement anymore, but we're taught about it as a drug. And until you teach and educate people about it as a plant, it's not going to change.
Well, this is what
It
I'll
won't.
say. I think education is important, and it's important to know that the district attorney's office is the single-handedly the most powerful actor in the law enforcement. I don't care. I mean, police are out there, they're enforcing on the front lines, but the district attorney's office is important. That's why it's important to vote.
So
Audia for
that's
DA.
why I'm with Audia, because she's gonna be like, girl, you need to come teach this place. And I'll be like, I'm here, I'm ready.
All right, so that was a good conversation. We're gonna have to continue that one. We're gonna take a short break and continue to stay tuned into the Green Gold Lounge on Texas101jams.com.
Free the weed in Texas.
Free to win in Texas.
Wait.
You guys are listening to the Green Gold Lounge. I am your
going
Emerald
down.
Empress. Listen, y'all, we have been having good conversation. We've been having good conversation. We got 5 of them. I got 5 of them. We got 5.
I just watched us. I just watched
Well,
us.
you need 10 on it, at least to get the ground.
That's what I'm talking about. See, that's how you know you got a good business partner. Because he gonna.
That is so funny.
But I don't got any to pick up. This week got 5 on it. Who else got 5?
Watch
Anybody
us.
else?
Watch us.
Listen, guys, we have Harris County DA candidates.
Audia Jones, Audia for DA.
We have Mrs. Come on.
LaTanya Whittington,
Tell 'em all.
Executive Director for Cannabis Reform in Houston, Free the Weed in Texas.
Yes, and then we have our wonderful guest here. Listen. Look, this right here. Hold on, let me see if I can get it. Right here. Nope.
Wait, which one?
He had.
There you go.
This right here. Let me tell y'all something. This is the man with the plan. This, y'all never see him because he never gonna be on camera. But let me tell y'all something. He hooks us up. He is the man. If you guys need any media, any marketing done, anything, this is the man with the plan. Just need you magazine, just need media. Y'all, we talking about cannabis tonight. We are talking about weed, ganja, however y'all call it. We gonna call it by the right name. Oh, cannabis.
Cannabis.
The sticky. Oh God, sticky.
But-
Sticky.
So-
I forgot about
We gonna start
that.
talking about some names.
I don't
that
forget
we
about
call
that.
cannabis.
Sticky. Or
So listen,
Cali.
hey guys, listen real quick though, for real. What we're giving you guys is good information. If you are in Houston, Texas, we have our show coming up, The Perfect Flower Cannabis Networking and Mixer. Listen, she's gonna be there. One of our activists. We have Miss Audia. She may come through the depends. She's out on the trail right now. Because we need her to win, so we can free the win to Texas. Listen, we want you guys to go ahead and get the information. The industry is coming. You know, we are international. We're international. Shout out to Dukes in Jamaica. We are international. Today is the day. Finish the introduction of the speaker. You're late to the show. But we are. Oh,
60 seconds.
listen, that's what
I want to talk about bills, everybody.
So what we'll do is, in the next segment, we'll get on the video. Cause you have a movie now.
What time? 8?
That's going on now.
It's going on 9?
So much fun, right?
Okay, yeah. Yeah. What time you get done? At 10? Oh, yeah, no, I don't. Oh, yeah,
Yeah, the second half is
Don't
all
talk about bills.
Okay.
So, since you'll be able to just mention the class, and then in the second segment,
and your meeting.
yeah, you're meeting in the class.
20 seconds.
And your walk.
So this is the
Get it together.
Engineer and enforcer.
I have so much
Five,
going on.
four.
Forgetting.
Final thought?
Yeah, this
I
is.
have so much going on.
Listen,
I love it though, free the weed.
Once again, Houston and listening areas, you are tuned in to the Green Gold Lounge on Texas101jams.com. So we're gonna go ahead and close out this segment with yes, Honorable Empress.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, dude, we are almost an hour in. Can you believe it?
You have to be in the studio to see what just happened. So.
Jesus Christ.
Y'all,
They have
Yeah.
I
played the
promise
league.
you
This
this
is
is
real life thing, okay?
There's nothing in that water, y'all. I promise you. It's just CBD water.
Okay,
It's
so see,
CBD.
oh no, wait, we can't. We have people listening; they can't see what's going on. So, at any rate, what we want to do is go ahead and allow Ms. Latanya to tell us about some events she's participating in.
Yes, I have a lot going on. I'll go ahead and start with my first one. It's actually this Saturday. You know, we're trying to keep awareness and keep everybody on their toes. We're having another walk, and it's going to be at McGregor Park at the corner of OST and MLK, right at the park, right by Martin Luther King. And he was for freedom, and we want freedom too, okay? Free the week. We have our signs and we have our flags. We're going to be there from 4 to 7, okay? So if you want to come out there, drive by. You know, we're passing out flyers. Actually, I like to have some of you guys flyers to pass out. Candidates are welcome to come out too and stand with us, you know, because that's what we want. And then later that night, we'll be back at Midtown Bar and Grill. I like to see you guys with us. We'll be on the patio.
So this is when is this?
This is tomorrow.
That's
On the
tomorrow,
patio.
Yeah.
Saturday,
And
June 13th.
June
No,
8th. Yes.
Ooh, you are
June
trying
8th.
to.
You don't even
And
know.
we'll have
You are
a
not
Nico
about to waste my
Cash
life.
coming to perform. We'll have some performers. So we'll be there from about 8 to 12 p.m., you know.
Cool.
So we
On the
ask
patio.
on the patio.
On the patio.
So we're trying to network and bring everybody together. And I have one more event.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to be an instructor for another cannabis class. And it's given by the Hemp and Cannabis Institute of Houston. So it's going to be at U of H. It's going to be July the 13th.
Okay.
And I'll actually be an instructor for that one.
Yes.
I'll be
Very
teaching.
Yes.
And what I'm going to teach is people how to be an advocate
Mhm.
and how to lobby and how to testify. Okay.
Ooh, that's gonna
Sounds
be a good
good.
class.
I've been doing it for a couple of years now, so I'm pretty well with it.
I might need
If you
something.
want to get in touch and find out more, go on the website, the Hemp and Cannabis Institute of Houston.com. And one of the main person is instructor Liz Adianda Garcia. And you can find her on Facebook, okay?
All right.
So I just wanted to tell you guys about that. You can find me, and I'm going to give you knowledge about how we all in Texas can free the weed.
Free the weed. And I will actually be speaking at her June 20th event.
Yes,
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
meeting,
Oh,
the
thank you.
meeting. I'm gonna forget. Tomorrow we'll be speaking and talking about her class, in which I'll be in the mixer. I'll be a speaker,
Yes.
and we do have our meeting June the 20th at Midtown Bar and Grill. We start probably at 7:30.
Yes.
Come and hang out with us and network, okay? Because we love to network, you know.
Yes.
And I can't wait to see you guys there. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, we'll be there. That's June 20th at Midtown Bar and
There's
Yeah.
so
Grill.
much going on.
So
Cannabis
listen,
reform.
y'all can't say you have not been told because she has told you where to be on June the 20th.
Be there, be square.
Oh, can
Or bring a square.
I ain't trying to get on me about the mic.
I had a feather that was tickling my arm and it was bothering me. Because I'm being extra.
Okay, before we allow Ms. Jones to wrap up, what is your favorite strategy?
Oh, my favorite street.
Okay, did she just pop up and come to life?
Are y'all waiting for me for a long time to tell you? Because I already know.
No, go
we
ahead.
ready.
Go ahead. What's your favorite?
Do you want me to go like TikTok? It's Gorilla Glue.
Gorilla, like which one you got? Gorilla Glue?
4, 5,
Oh, look at you.
No.
I will take any number as
Any
long
number,
as it
as
say
long as it's
Gorilla Glue.
Gorilla Glue.
Okay.
So tell people what Gorilla Glue is.
Well,
for those that
it's
need
an
to know it.
indica.
It is an
Okay.
indica.
And it's a nighttime cannabis. You know, it's for relaxation, inflammation, appetite.
Mhm.
And well, I did say insomnia, didn't I?
She
Okay.
did just now. She
So
said
anyway,
insomnia.
it's really great. I wish I could find it every day. So when they free the weed in Texas, I could go to the store and ask the doctor, give me what the doctor prescribed me.
Which
give me
is
my Gorilla Glue. Okay.
Gorilla Glue.
Instead of me having to
Strands.
move out of Texas
Right.
to go get it, you
Mhm.
know, like Colorado or California. So that's what's gonna happen if they don't hurry up and do it.
So her favorite strand is Gorilla Glue. So listen, so she talked about indica.
Yeah, but-
So when you talk about indicas are more of a body relaxer.
Body,
They
yes.
make you
Full
feel
body.
like just comfortable.
And the reason it does that is because one of the therapists gives you what's called a couch lock.
Yeah, give you that.
Couch
therapy.
lock. Oh, I haven't heard that in
Yeah.
like 10 years.
And that's the thing. We will start breaking down the science of this plant on this show. And a lot of times people, you know, they only know about THC, but we're going to talk about the terpenes, we're going to talk about the trichomes, we're going to
We're
talk
gonna talk about all that.
about
'cause-
11
yeah.
hydroxy THC. That's the
That's
one
the
right
one
there.
that right there. See, we're gonna bring it. We're gonna about to.
THC.
We're gonna
So
look
we're
y'all
gonna-
up on some
We're going to
knowledge.
make sure we give you the right knowledge about cannabis and cannabis sativa L, which is hemp.
Yes, that's my favorite.
I love
So
hemp
listen,
seed.
and then we're gonna talk about sativas. So sativas are those ones that like to make
Upper,
y'all feel
upper,
like
upper.
you just
Creative.
creative. Like
Awake.
everything is just unicorns and fairy tales.
Yes.
Well, we
That's
really-
what it
This feather thing.
The community stays
You know
safe.
what?
Unicorns
That's
and
what she
community stays safe. Public safety.
Look, I mean, it's a creative strand. A lot of, you know, and then you have your hybrids.
Hybrid.
Yes, the
Hybrid.
hybrids, and then you may have a dominant one of the
Right.
other. And then we're also going to
Yeah.
talk about the entourage effect and how you can use CBD to help
And THC.
minimize that couch lock effect because you're going
Right.
to balance it out. Like, we're going to hook y'all
It's
up
like-
on the game.
I
The
love
thing-
this.
I mean, the
Yes,
thing-
we're going to talk about
The
it.
thing is, you know, everybody wants the doty, the dro, those high THC levels, but the thing about it is,
It's not benefiting you.
exactly, after about 12 milligrams of THC, you
Your
good.
yeah.
Beyond that, you just smoking and doing whatever you're doing, just
Right.
to be doing it. So we're gonna talk about that. We're
We're
gonna
gonna
talk
talk
about
about
how
edibilizing.
to balance, right, how to balance the CBD and the THC levels to get that 1-to-1 ratio. And that's really what it's about, y'all, is having a 1-to-1 ratio with THC and CBD. All right,
Or
so
as close to it as possible,
close
because
to
you
it
got
as
some people that like a 2-to-1 ratio, 3-to-1 ratio, 4-to-1
4-to-1
ratio.
ratio.
And I know y'all like, what do they mean by 4-to-1 ratio? Well, guess what? We have a calculator a formula that breaks down your CBD to THC content, and you want to get your CBD content.
but hold on, wait a minute.
We ain't gonna get
That's why they need to come to the Perfect Flower Cannabis Workshop and Networking Mixer on June 22nd. You need to go to www.greenlife-consulting.com to get your ticket.
And don't wait till the last minute, because you'll be standing outside. Ear hustling on campus.
Yeah, so Ms. Jones, we really appreciate you coming. We know you have to make a move, but you are welcome on the show
No,
anytime.
this is
anytime.
great. This is great. Thank you.
And if you need our support with any of your events, just give us
Yes.
a call. We will
We
definitely
ready.
be there.
We ready to-
We won't have to start rallying up the whole
Yeah.
crew.
Yeah, just to wrap it up, I guess follow our campaign on Audia for DA. That's AUDIA for FORDA on Instagram. The support has been amazing. We're on Facebook, Audia for DA. We're on Twitter, Audia for DA. Our campaign is all about ending mass incarceration, leveling the playing field, decriminalizing poverty, mental illness, and drug addiction.
Yes.
With a focus on, of course, possession of marijuana and righting the wrongs that our system has created so imbalanced for the minority community, which we
Right.
are the majority here in Harris County.
Mhm.
And you know, it's important that we have people like Ms. Latanya and individuals like you all that are continue to provide knowledge. And it's just about informing people and understanding how important the district attorney is, getting out and voting, so we can have all the laws on the books that we want. We have hundreds of thousands, but law enforcement really does choose which ones to enforce and who to enforce it against. And that's the important thing. So again, Audio for DA, we need volunteers. We will have a volunteer meeting coming up June 20th 5:30 to 7:30. So you leave our meeting and then you
Oh,
head
girl,
over
what?
to Midtown Bar and Grill.
You're gonna have a
So
conference.
yes, busy night. So June 20th, we have a
You're
June 20th. Take a look on Instagram.
I'm gonna be busy,
Yes.
and that's all
What do
good,
we have?
'cause need
June
that.
23rd. We have oh God, what do we have? We have something on
So,
June
I will be-
23rd, and
oh,
then
yeah.
we do. We have
June
our
20th.
Inner Me Studios. We're doing
Yes.
yoga and hip hop dancing with a focus on criminal justice reform. So
And
we'll
I
have
love
that with
yoga.
refreshments.
Listen, y'all, yoga is my listen. People been asking how I got all nice and slim and toned up.
Hold on, the Emperor's about to go somewhere. The 25th, last one. The 25th, June 25th. Literally, we will be having a community town hall when we talk about transparency and equality. June 25th.
Will
It's
I
going
be
to
in
be.
Costa Rica?
Will you be in Costa Rica? I don't know, but June
Oh, no, I leave on the
25th,
20th.
we will
Okay.
have individuals like Brother Derek Muhammad.
Yes,
I
okay.
am Fallon, Pop Darby. They will be coming in, pulling in the community.
Okay,
Wendy
cool.
J. Turner is hosting it.
Where
I'll
they
be
at?
out there really speaking, informing people about how important the district attorney is and what their rights are truly. And when we talk about law enforcement, we have to free up our police officers. Right now we have a 40% clearance rate only for murders. I think it's more important that we have less interactions like Charlicia Corley and individuals that are in there for low-level offenses, which is the majority now, and focus on the serious violent crimes. So again, Audio 4 DA, appreciate all the support and love that's come so far, especially the two individuals. I literally just met them at Porsche's event.
Yeah.
Porche, the realtor, follow her.
Where's
She's
Porche?
amazing.
Come
Porche.
on,
Porche
Porche.
is amazing.
Come on.
Come to the mic. Come to the mic.
Porche.
So
Look, it
yes,
is right.
Houston, you
Look.
hear that? Audio 4D.
Audio 4 DA.
Now, when can we,
Oh, I'm
when
sorry.
have-
Hold on, y'all. I got so excited. No, you got your own mic, Porche. Oh, it's
So
not-
let me
oh,
ask you all
yeah.
a question. When have you heard someone that's running for DA break down that office this way? Never, 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 never. So make sure you follow the campaign trail and stay tuned to the Green Gold Lounge. Porche.
Yes.
Go ahead, introduce yourself.
We love
Come on,
Porche.
Porche. Come on in. Get
Am
on
I
the mic
right
right
here?
here.
Okay.
No, right here.
No, right here. Come on this one.
Okay.
Here we go. Come on, Porche.
Change
Yes.
maker, change maker,
Yes. This is a change. Listen.
change makers.
Y'all better follow
All
her.
over this.
Porche.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So tell everyone who you are and what you stand for.
You gotta
talk
to the mic.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so my name is Porche Brown. I'm a real estate agent here in Houston with Equinox Realty Group. Hey.
Hey.
So I connected with Adia and Tamar probably about a couple of months ago. I first met Adia joining her campaign and then hosting her first is that
There
loud
you
enough
go.
now?
You gotta
Cool.
you gotta talk a little closer to the
So
microphone.
I reached out, I saw her campaign online, and I was like, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And I was given the opportunity to actually host the first open house meet and greet, and it went amazing.
Yes, it was.
One thing that I guess I just have a gift of connecting people. I love it.
Yes.
And so I was able to bring a lot of real estate agents, entrepreneurs, young people of my same age, and people who are also making a change that I see as mentors in the field of real estate and just also here in Houston doing their thing, to come and meet Adia. And it was just an amazing experience. And this is actually where I met Tamar and it was awesome. Me and her, we connected right over the phone, actually.
Yes,
I was
we
like,
had a
this
good
is my girl. Like,
Yeah.
I can't wait to meet you. I met her at the event. It was amazing. And
We got some big things in the
we
works.
have some big things coming up, and it's awesome to know that I get to follow good people.
Yes.
That's what it's all about. You know, you can all come up and meet somebody and just give off good vibes, and that's what I got from Adia and Tamar and her business partner. And you know, I'm in a learning phase right now, and I want other people to be open to that too, because it's very important to understand what's going on and how you can be a change maker. So I appreciate you guys.
you.
I didn't expect nobody on us.
And I just want to leave with a quick shout out to my team. Coretta Brown is out there.
Miss
Our
Coretta
community-
Brown.
Our community director, Kim, is in
Listen.
Vegas right now. Our
Yes.
team is out there working hard.
Okay,
Thank you so
everybody.
much to the Audio Jones campaign for DA.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you, 101 Jams. You guys are amazing.
We gotta give a shout out to Texas 101jams.com.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
So what we're gonna do now is go into this next music break. Stay tuned. You'll listen to the Green Gold Lounge on Texas 101jams.com. Stay tuned.
Yes.
Awesome.
So we just need a quick commercial. We need to do a
All
commercial.
right, let me do it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm like, I want to
Great
get
show.
a.
You did
Thank
amazing.
You too. I gotta get your card.
Thank you so much.
We gotta get a
Okay.
picture.
Yes.
Oh, we got a board right here.
Hey, live. We'll
Here you
repost
go.
it.
Let me give you some information about my organization.
Yeah, because we can definitely.
want you guys to get ready. First of all, y'all see this outfit? Y'all wasn't ready tonight. Y'all see these pants? Come on now. Come on with these can of pants. Can of pants.
How it affects our community and then
Yes,
how the
most
DA
definitely.
impacts it in the criminal justice.
Okay.
Well, you know, and
Come
then
on out and
another
support
thing
you.
is
That's what I'm
that, well,
talking
this
about.
is just some information. I'll give you a
Okay,
little
so
bit.
was it one? Give me one.
Well, and we're trying to become
You have a mark?
501c.
Good.
And, you know, these are the type of things that'll come with it if you
Yeah.
decide to join us.
Okay.
It's a $25 annually. Yeah, they did.
I heard it. I called the number on the Facebook.
They told you.
Yeah, they told me. Were they not supposed to?
Well, I was very upset.
Were you
about
part
it,
of it?
yes. Well, basically what happened is, well, I'll let them tell
Okay,
you.
his stuff
Well,
is
can I
on.
have your
You
card
want
and
it?
then we'll talk?
just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I'm fine, but you changed it.
Let me give you, give me your card
Yes, yes,
and your
yes. Let me give
information,
you-
and then, we'll talk more about it.
Yeah.
But can I hit my pen in here? I don't